Hey there, moviegoers. Tristan here. Just wanted to give you all a quick heads up that in this episode, we'll be discussing some sensitive topics such as sex, nudity, and suicide. Sex and nudity will be mentioned more throughout the episode than suicide, as it was more prevalent throughout the movie. If that's something that makes you uncomfortable, we fully understand, but if it's something that you're okay with, stay tuned, because this episode is insane. And as always, thank you for listening to Admit One.
Another episode of Admit One. This is episode numero 3. I am Jadon, and I am here with T-Bog, Tristan in the room. We are in the room. I have a couple notes to actually just start with. A few opening, just a couple things, just two things, literally. This movie was directed, written, produced, and the main actor was Tommy Wisaeu. It has a 3.8 out of 10 on IMDb.
I can see why.
Yeah, it was rough. One of the main actors said that the movie was rejected within 24 hours of being submitted to Paramount Studios, when typically movies... that's funny. That's funny. But typically, he said, it was Greg Sestero, it was Mark, the guy that played Mark. He said that typically it takes movies 2 weeks to get rejected. So it got rejected in 24 hours.
That has to be a record.
The only thing that I knew going into this one was that I was going to expect it to be bad.
Yeah, I didn't know how bad it was going to be, though, and I didn't know how to fully expect it and anticipate for how bad it truly was.
Yeah, it was... compared to The Great Gatsby, it was just absolutely opposite of the scale. I mean, it was absolutely just dreadful.
Dude, I know, how do we go from The Great Gatsby to The Room?
That's the beauty of the wheel.
The wheel moves in mysterious ways.
It giveth and it taketh away. But that was all I had for those little intro notes. I looked that up right before watching it. I watched some of it on my lunch at work, and I finished it literally 20 minutes before recording this. I mean, this movie takes your breath away, not in a good way. Not in a good way.
No, not at all. Not at all. I feel that Tommy wrote this movie just so he could see a blonde lady's boobies.
Dude, I'm not a fan of sex scenes in movies.
If they're quick, I mean, it's not that bad. But there was within the first 30 minutes, there was 6, and each one lasted 5 minutes. I was like, am I watching a movie or
actually,
porno?
Let me consult my notes here. Hold up, you can hear them flipping. I am 3 minutes in and I'm scared. That is what I wrote down. And then... Hold up. I believe there was a total of 6.5 sex scenes in this movie.
See, I was close. But my first note, it just says, the way he says, "You look so sexy," has never been less sexy.
How'd you feel about the soundtrack?
Man, it was odd. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting, some more upbeat songs or something a little...
I thought it was absolutely insane. It was so... I mean, guys, I know that, we keep saying it was bad, but, to truly understand how bad this movie is, you have to watch it. I mean, no amount of describing. We're going to keep trying.
I know, man. I finished the movie, and I was like... How am I supposed to talk about this? What am I supposed to say?
I mean, first off, he's so awkward. His laugh, dude, so many times.
Why is he laughing so much?
I mean, that was...
It's like Owen Wilson saying, wow.
Honestly, too, going into it, I wasn't expecting nudity at all. But after the first 2 sex scenes, I knew there were going to be... I just knew.
And the angles during the sex scenes, they were not flattering at all. In one frame, it was nothing but nipple, several times.
And I thought it was weird during that, like, emotional flashbacks, they would cut to the sex scenes.
I know, I'm
it would
like...
cut between the sex scenes and them running in the park, and
I know,
I was
it's
like,
like two
what?
friends hanging out, nipple.
Oh, dude. Why were they jogging with a football?
Is this movie like a football movie? Did they want to play college football or professional football? Because there's so much emphasis around the football. I feel like there was some deeper meaning.
I don't know if there can be a deep meaning to this movie, and I'm just being honest.
It's just every aspect of it was just awkward. Like, I didn't feel good after finishing it.
No, I don't feel. I mean, I feel like that is an hour and 36 minutes of my life that I will never get back. Let me also say, Tommy fought everyone on the set to have that scene of his butt in the movie of him walking towards the door. Everyone didn't want to film that. Everyone didn't want to do it. I don't know if there's footage of it, but he essentially was like, "No, you're going to do this, and we're going to shoot it till you get it right." And
wait, is that his actual accent?
The way he was speaking in the movie is literally how he talks.
Oh, okay.
That is really his voice.
I thought he was trying to fake an accent.
No.
I didn't know that was actually how he talked.
No, that is literally, dude. Yeah.
That makes it so much better, because like there was also no emotion behind anything that he was saying. Everything was just so monotone.
He'd be smiling. He'd be smiling and be like, "You're going to leave me? Aha. Aha."
I know, and like, I hate to jump forward to the end of the movie, but the most emotion that he showed was the argument there at his birthday party.
I don't know, man. When he was dead, that kind of...
He might as well have been alive. Like, he was not talking or doing anything that contributed to any part of the movie. I saw him breathe at one point.
Rising. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I saw him breathe. I was like, no way. Did you notice, like, in the beginning when he gave her the rose, how long it was? Like, it was as tall as she was. I was like, that's the world's longest rose. And then he walked into the flower shop to get roses, and she was like, "You're my favorite customer." And he's like, "Ah, thank you." Which, fun fact, the woman in the flower shop was not an actress, but actually the woman who worked there. And according to the guy who played Mark, Greg Sestro, Tommy Wisaeu, upon seeing the little dog on the counter, asked if it was the real thing. He wanted to know if it was a real, living, actual dog.
Dude, I actually have a note based around that dog that just says... the way he says "hi doggy" was way funnier than what it actually should have been.
Hi doggy.
And then no emotion, anything. Taps the dog, says "hi doggy," turns around and walks out, and that's the end of the scene.
And he says, "I have to go now. Bye."
Like, there was no build up in any scene whatsoever.
I think I wrote the soundtrack is horrible 4 or 5 different times because it was just horrible. I said another awkward sex scene 2 minutes in. I said poor transitions.
One of my notes says, "Oh boy, another sex scene," and then it says, "I don't like her nipples."
I wrote, "Is Tommy even trying?" And then I wrote, "What is the plot?" In like capital letters.
What was the plot of the movie?
Madman's notes.
It's like like an episode of some like schizophrenic person that they just wrote stuff down.
It's like the Twilight Zone, but it's like 5 different episodes cut together, and you never quite figure out the resolution, and nobody knows. Like I said, third sex scene in 36 minutes. And then I said, that woman's mom sounded a lot too happy about having breast cancer. She said, "I know, I have breast cancer."
Dude, I did not like her mom at all. She reminded me of the mom in Everybody Loves Raymond. I don't remember her name. And like a mix of her and Kitty Foreman from That 70s Show. But without the ability to act.
She was too old to be that woman's mom. She was like 60, 70. And that woman had to be like, what? 20s?
At least mid-20s.
I don't know. Like, you know, for a movie, though. For a movie.
Oh, yeah, for a movie, it was a weird choice for her mom.
I said, in all caps, again, this is handwritten, by the way, so you know I was like, what is this? I said, Lisa made Johnny drink, then lied. And then right after that, I said fourth sex scene. You continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. Like, I don't think she really likes her mom that much. Because her mom would walk into the house, she would say something ridiculous, and then her mom would be like, well, honey, I gotta go, and then, like, boop her nose and then walk out.
Every single time. I was like, what is that? Like, I was like, she'd sit down, she's like, gotta go. And then she'd be back, and she's like, are you coming to the party? The whole time I was like, what party?
Yeah,
this
I know.
His birthday.
Like, there was
of
no
course
mention.
It's his birthday.
Yeah, there was no mention of a party before. Like, I don't think there was any planning until later on in the movie.
My note here actually pertains to her mother coming to visit. Wow, very cool. I said, how did they go shopping and come back with no bags? They're like, wow, shopping was really fun, but like they have nothing. They walk inside with nothing. They're holding nothing.
I didn't actually notice that.
I just couldn't believe it. I didn't even bother looking at the continuity errors section on IMDb because I didn't have time. But also I didn't have time because it's massive. I said you can see the green screen because they were on the rooftop and you could just see it when they were like shoving each other around.
Yeah, you could see it ripple a little bit.
They couldn't afford a rooftop.
What was up with the rooftop like football scene? Why are they playing football on a roof?
Oh my god.
And why did he get tackled into the trash cans?
That was dude, hold up. Let me see.
It was like, how are we going to get him out of this scene? Oh, I have an idea. Shoves him into like 4 trash cans. Why are there trash cans on a roof?
And like the camera on that, it was so shaky. And like there were 3 guys there. 2 of them were in the frame. One was in the left of the frame. One was in the right of the frame. One was in the left. One was in the center. And no one was like, he cut the other guy off on the right. Like you couldn't even see him, and he was just talking. They're like, college going good? Ah, ha, ha, ha. And they throw the football. And then he fell, and they're like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Do you need help? When this guy literally like fell barely into some like aluminum trash can.
That scene was really awkward.
Dude, it was bad.
Just all the acting whenever they were on the roof.
The whole
really
movie
bad.
was awkward.
It was very awkward. I don't know what else to say about how awkward it was.
I can't remember if I said this in the last episode or not, or if it's something we talked about before recording or something. But the scene, the iconic scene that everyone knows, not everyone, but most people know. I did not hit her. I did not,
Oh, yeah.
How did it feel finally getting to see that in context after I showed it to you?
Dude, so I'd never seen that scene before, or I've never even heard of this movie until you had mentioned it to me. So actually, like, because you sent me that YouTube clip of that scene, so actually watching it, like, play out, it was really funny, but it was still really awkward. And then the drug scene on the roof with Danny. How did that guy get up there? Because how it looked in every other scene is they have to go through their apartment to get to the roof.
He was like, give me my money. And he had a pistol to this boy's head.
I know.
And also, I've never heard of a boy named Denny. I've heard of Danny, but never Denny. And every time they'd say his name, I'd keep thinking of Denny's. I don't know if I'm just like a big back or what, but like I just thinking of Denny's.
Well, they would say it differently every time.
Yeah, that's true. They go, Danny.
Danny. But one quote of the movie that actually stuck out to me was when Johnny said, if a lot of people loved each other, the world would be a better place to live. And I was like, that's the like most sentimental thing that he has said this entire movie.
I wrote that one down too. That was, he said it, but the way he said it, like, it was powerful, but it was just calm.
That was the best acting that he had done that entire movie, was him saying that quote.
I did also write down Lisa as a hoe.
I wrote down Lisa got worse as the movie went on. Like, what was the turning point? I don't know. What happened for her to not like Johnny and it just keep progressing?
I wrote Tommy laughing at a woman getting beat, but I don't remember that. But I'm sure it happened.
I don't remember that at all. Happened.
I wrote hi Mark because the scene where it's like, oh, hi Mark. But then I wrote hi Mark again later on because he just kept saying hi Mark every time Mark in, like,
yeah.
If there were 2 characters in between dialogue, it didn't matter. He had to make a point to say hi to Mark. He said, Hi, Mark.
Yeah, and like not to go back to the sex scenes, but every time that they had sex, it was like the worst fake moaning I'd ever heard, and the subtle sounds of hands like smacking in like a non-sexy way really sold it. Like it was just the most subtle smacks.
One of them was like 3 minutes long, and it played a full soundtrack, like a full song, and like I just kept. I'm not gonna lie, I skipped through it. I just kept skipping through it. I couldn't.
Wish I
skipped,
would
like
have.
I listened to the first minute, and then I skipped through it and listened to a little bit more, and I skipped through it, and I was like, I just can't. This is bad.
I was sitting there at work and I was like, if a patient walks in during this, they're going to think I'm just sitting over here watching porn casually.
That's what I'm saying. I was watching it in my car at work on break, and I had it up on my little dash mount. I was like, I want someone to drop by and see me eating my lunch. Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, some cinema while I eat my deli hot dogs.
I'm going to have to put explicit content on this episode.
We've not really said anything explicit. I mean, I said nipples. I don't know if nipples are explicit.
It depends. There's a movement to free the nipple.
That's true. And there is a lot of talk about sex. So, I mean, I guess, even though we're not, like, cussing or anything, explicit tag,
I don't know.
probably.
I don't know the guidelines.
Yeah, I don't either.
But this movie breaks all the guidelines, I'm telling you. I wrote, does Tommy care? I said, another quote was, thanks for being my tuition. He said that. Denny said that to Tommy. He said, thanks for being my tuition.
I don't remember that. Dude, the scene where they were on the roof, like, it's the same football scene. Why was there so much emphasis on his underwear?
Because I guess he'd lost him in that scene. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I feel like it was one of those scenes where it was like, okay, we have to kill an extra 2 minutes. Talk about your underwear.
And then get tackled into the trash.
Yeah, and then get tackled into the trash cans.
I put, now he can bug phones.
Yeah, where did the recorder come from? Where was he already holding that in his hand? Because he was just standing there.
What does he do for work?
I don't know. It doesn't. It never says.
It was never established. He never got the promotion though, and that kind of tore him up.
He's just standing there, and then he just like pulls a recorder out of his butt.
Since you didn't know about the crap, dropped my ink pen that I was gesturing with. Sorry, I talk with my hands. If you're someone that can imagine images in your head, I cannot. When I read books, I see the words in my head. I believe the condition for that is called aphantasia or something like that.
Do you have like an inner monologue?
We'll get into that on another episode. That's a whole nother animal.
Dude, no, because like I can hear whole music in my head.
So where I do voice impressions, I can I don't mean that like this, it always sounds weird when I say it. I can hear voices. I'm not the best at hearing music because I'm not musically trained, but like if I want to do a voice impression, like if I want to do Kermit the Frog, I can hear that in my head. I can hear where I need to put stuff. But like when I read Harry Potter, like I read books really quick, really quick. Like when we were in high school, we had this thing called, Reading Plus or something like that. It was so stupid. So they got rid of the advisory period. Be happy you were homeschooled. Be happy.
I am for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, I bet the food was great. Dude, I know the food was great. Oh my God. But
dude, my mom was in nursing school, so I had to fend for myself. So yeah, the food was pretty
still
good.
great.
Yeah, the food was still really good.
But we had this thing called Reading Plus, and you had to like read a story and answer questions about it, but you had to do it guided. So there was like, it would block out the whole paragraph and it would drag a box along and you'd have to read. And everyone else's was going slow, but I had mine at like 480 words per minute. Everyone was like, you're not reading that. And I was, because when I read, like, I don't see an apple in my head. I see the word apple, A-P-P-L-E. I mean, that's what I see. I don't know why that's the way my brain works, but that's what I see. And I mean, kind of sucks, but I'm glad movies exist for that reason.
Dude, that's crazy, because, like, whenever I'm listening to a song to learn, like, I can see myself playing it in my head along to the music that I'm listening to visualize what I need to hit and when I need to hit it.
Dude, Olivia's pretty freaking talented. I'll ask her, like, she can, I don't know, like I said, I don't know much about music, but she'll do something like, I'll be like, hey, what note is this? And she'll go like, it's this one. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Oh, yeah, no, dude, I can't do that at all. I'm just a drummer. I don't even know time
No,
signatures.
dude,
I'm the worst drummer to exist. I'm like, okay, that's what needs to be played when it needs to be played.
My buddy Tom would get upset at me because I was such a horrible air drummer. He'd be like, dude, you can't keep beat on the air drums. You don't know what you're doing. Like, every time he'd be like, just stop. And I'd be like, all right. Speaking of drummers, this solid drummer right here, I was bragging on you. Her uncle was checking out our podcast. And
Who was?
Olivia's uncle.
Oh, I thought you said my uncle. I'm like, that's weird. He never mentioned it to me.
No. He was checking out her podcast, and I let him listen to some of your Dreaded Dale stuff, and he liked it.
Oh, nice. Well, I'll tell him I appreciate it. We have a show coming up in May in Richmond. America's worst Dale Earnhardt themed metalcore band. Back to the movie, though. My favorite insult ever came out of this movie when Mark said, "Leave your stupid comments in your pocket." That just sent me somewhere else. That was such a good insult. I'm gonna have to start using that one.
Oh my god. I've got, dude, one of the reasons. Okay, here's the story. Here's a plot point. Tommy and Lisa, how they met. He came to LA with 2 suitcases, and he had a $2,000 check that he couldn't cash at a bus station. And they asked why. And I wrote down this quote because I think this is a quote pertaining that's like one of those like cult classic quotes, because people love this movie because it's so bad. And I can kind of see why, because it's horrible, but like you want to tell people to watch it because it's so bad, you know?
I don't want to join the cult that people love this movie. Like, it does not sound fun.
Right. Well, I don't love it, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The reason he couldn't cash the check was it was an out-of-state bank. But yeah, he said he met her at a bus station. I
thought he said he met her at a hotel that he worked at, and she was sitting there drinking coffee.
Well, he might have. I don't know. That's not what I had.
Because when him and Peter were in, I guess it was their living room talking, I actually thought it was like his therapist, but apparently it's just his friend that gives him advice.
I thought it was his therapist too.
It may have been. I still don't know. There were so many plot holes. But yeah, Peter was like, "So how did you and Lisa meet?" And he was like, "Well, I came here with, 2 suitcases and a $2,000 check I couldn't cash because it was from out of state. So I was working at a hotel, and she was there, sitting there drinking coffee, looking beautiful or something like that. So I went and talked to her."
Oh yeah, yep. You're right. Well, put a big
on me. I don't remember the bus stop conversation though. Was that?
I just must have made that up, dude. But I swear to God, I'm sorry.
No, you're
sorry. I put Mark smoked weed and he went absolutely ballistic on Peter. Like he tried to dangle this man over a rooftop, and the CGI was horrible.
I have a note about that. Let me find it.
While you find that, I'm gonna give you one more note. Did my dog just ran in here?
Oh yeah, so here's the note. I said, "Can't believe he tried to kill Peter. Definitely too much weed." Because when Peter walked on the roof and Mark was sitting there smoking it, you would think that he was sitting there with like a pipe, lighting it up.
I thought he was gonna be smoking crack.
That's what I thought by the way he was acting. I'm like, you can tell this is an old movie because of the weird anti-weed agenda that people thinking that it's going to be the death of you.
Well, my dog wandered in here while we're recording, and he just flopped down. So as long as he doesn't start barking, we're going to be good. He can join in on the session.
What's your dog's name?
Ozzy Pawsborn.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me that because I remember saying that his band was Bark Sabbath.
Dude, your audio glitched, and I know you said Bark Sabbath, but it was so funny. You said Barbeth. Oops. I put the zoom in on Mark's shave. Dude, he came in shaved, and it panned in real close to his face and played, like, music. And then, like, I can't remember what the situation was, but when they were going, come on, Peter, cheep, 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 cheep.
Oh, yeah, because he didn't want to go outside and play football wearing a tuxedo. Like, there was so much football in this movie.
See, I said, who jogs with the football? We already went over that, but they were literally, like, jogging back and forth, tossing a football.
Yeah, they were. I still don't understand running. The football.
And it cut from them jogging to a sex scene, back to them jogging again.
I, I know, man. Nothing in this movie made sense from any point.
We need to figure out the name. Your buddy that suggested this movie, need to thank him for wasting my time. But I love it. I love it. I love that he wasted my time. I'm thankful. But thank you.
But who was it that recommended the movie?
It was one of your buddies on your personal Facebook that commented a bunch of things in a row.
Oh, I'll have to track it down. Thank you to whoever that was.
We should start doing that.
Yeah.
We should start doing that. That's a great idea.
Dude, Lisa was literally the worst human ever. She lied about getting pregnant on the emphasis of, we'll have a baby eventually.
Dude, I literally wrote, she's pregnant in all caps, and then I drew a line through it, and I said, she's not, ? And then I put a line through that, and I said, she lied for no reason?
She's like an angsty teen.
Oh my god, it's not a phase.
It's not a phase, Mom. This is the real me.
The real me is lying about being pregnant. That way it makes my affair hurt worse. That's what she said. I want to make it hurt more. It'll happen eventually.
Yeah, I still don't understand why she just wanted to totally disregarded Johnny and his feelings. I still want to know that turning point because, one moment they were having sex, and then the next minute she was like, I'm no longer in love. Love. Yeah, I don't know. They're literally the first 5 minutes of the movie, they're fine. I wonder if he was just like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to I don't think this is too graphic, but I wonder if he was like, yeah, I guess if I pay for the movie, I'm going to make myself have a sex scene. I'm going to write it into the movie. Because he only had one, which was weird that he was directing and filming. He might have had two. But he was directing and acting and filming, and then a majority of the sex scenes in his movie weren't his. Yeah, I also thought that was weird. I don't remember what movie it is. I saw it on Facebook, how the dude wrote the movie, and then there's in the scene, there's a girl that pours whiskey down her leg, and he cast himself to be the person that drinks it off of her feet.
I was talking to someone about that today. That specific, it's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah,
he cast himself.
Yeah, it's the exact same vibe as that.
It was my psychology major buddy. We were talking about that. Because I was telling him about the Great Gatsby episode because he was real excited for that one. Dropped my notes.
And the fight scene at the end where Lisa slaps Mark was the worst slap that I have ever seen, but it still was not as bad as their acting.
Dude, I wrote, and then right after that, because it's funny, as soon as I turned my page, you said Lisa fights Mark, and that's what was right there, right under it. I said, epic fight, ... never mind. Because they start to fight, and they're like, oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and when he should have been angry, he was just so unimpressed. Dude, this is supposed to be the person that you're marrying, in this movie, and some other dude is over here rubbing all over her, and you're just not acting like anything happened.
Not till the very end. Not till the
end. That was the best acting that he had done that entire movie, though, but it still wasn't good. Dude, one of the ballsy things in the movie that I liked is when Johnny was like, who were you on the phone with? And Lisa was like, oh, it's nobody. And then he just pulls the tape out of nowhere. Was this in your pocket? How did you get it in the past 3 seconds? And he's just like, I got the facts.
Not even that. But after he pulled that tape out, he walked through the hallway, I guess, to get the thing to play it back with. And he flashed it to the camera. And he looked right at the camera and he's like, Was he trying to break the No, he wasn't. He just looked at the camera.
There was no fourth wall. There was no third wall. It was just a really bad green screen. a bad green screen, a dream, and a football. That is what this movie was made with.
Oh my god. It was shocking. It was just so shocking. The whole movie was. The movie
was made like somebody just figured out how to do some audio production. They just got a camera and they found a green screen on Facebook Marketplace and then found CapCut. And it was like, let's make a movie. It was the exact same vibe. We could recreate this movie, but, without all the sex stuff. And it would be just as bad, but in a good way.
It'd be better.
It would be, actually.
Because we love our projects and we care about them. The cinematography, horrible. Audio, horrible. Acting, horrible.
It was like okay, we're gonna make this movie, but nobody act like you care about it to any extent. Like,
actually, hold up. That's funny. I have a fact.
Oh, okay.
Towards the end of the Los Angeles portion of the shoot,
I thought it was in San Francisco.
This is what the number one fact on IMDb says.
Okay.
I don't know. Towards the end of the Los Angeles portion of the shoot, morale among the crew was so low that Todd Barron's name was not listed on the clapperboard. Take numbers were not being recorded. Giggling crew members wandered in and out of shots, and entire scenes were out of focus simply because nobody cared enough to check the lens.
Dude, okay, so I noticed one part went out of focus, and I just thought it was the site that I was streaming on because I was using my phone as a hotspot. So the scene actually was out of focus, and it was not the fact that I was watching it on a browser with my hotspot.
No.
Oh my god.
No, it was...
Oh my god.
Johnny was freaking out, and he was rubbing the blanket on his crotch, like pretending to have sex with the blanket.
Yeah, what was that?
Right before, we said he died earlier. I don't think we said how he died. At the end of the movie, would you like to tell him what happens?
Well, I have some notes before that.
Okay, that's fair. I just want to, dude. I just want him to know the resolution just as bad as I wanted to know it, because I was like,
I didn't see it going that way. But like, the most emotion that he showed that entire movie was him walking around the house and just destroying stuff, which I mean is totally like a valid feeling. But even then, it was so bad. It was the fakest crying. It's like what my children do to like get mine or Noel's attention. It's that bad. And then he goes upstairs and blows his brains out.
Dude, after he kills himself, after he shoots himself,
he's laying there and you can still see him breathing because he's laying there like covered in blood, covered up in blankets somehow, and he's breathing. She has the nerve. Dude. This guy just shot himself through the mouth.
Oh, I know. And she has the nerve to say, "Is he dead?
Is he dead?" And she looks at Mark and says, "So what does this mean for us? We're free to be together?" Like,
and then he says, "I have it here. You'll never have me. You killed him."
Yeah, but with that exact same tone and emotion.
And then it had like outro audio as it was like zooming in or panning out. And I'm sorry, I know what the difference between the two is. I just can't remember what it was doing because I was just so dumbfounded by everything else that had happened.
I think it did a little bit of both. And it was acting like it was going to end the movie, but there was still like another 5 minutes to that scene. So I don't know what they were doing.
And the audio was like 6 different officers and EMTs like, "Is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay? Is he okay?" And it's like no, he's not okay. None of us
I've never
are okay.
walked into a
I'm
room,
not okay.
Saw a hole through a guy's face, and said, "Is he okay?" I've usually looked at him and been like, "Oh, that guy's really dead."
Well, you may have never walked into that room before, but you sure has. You sure have walked into that. You sure have walked into that room now. That was tough. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I panned into the room and then panned out of the room and then panned back into it.
But I think that practically, there may have been a few notes in here about the movie itself that I may have missed. There's a quote that says, "Marriage has nothing to do with love." That was a quote from.
Oh yeah, I thought that was a really stupid quote.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And for earlier, the half-sex scene was when he took his shirt off and they were about to get down to it, and then they had to go jogging again.
So I have a note that says Mark got caught with his pants down.
That's my notes. Notebook's closed. I have more facts for whenever.
Let me see.
But you hit your notes.
Oh, the chocolate couch sex scene. That was even more awkward than any of the other sex scenes because it was just them feeding each other chocolate, saying "Yum, this is delicious," in the worst tone. And then it just, zooms in on him and his weird looking nipples. And then the facial expressions that he made. I thought he was having a stroke.
It was horrible.
All of it was just so bad. And like their dinner that they had, vodka and pizza.
Oh man, that's my favorite.
There was
Smirnoff and sausage, baby.
We're having a double S. Oh, it's Saturday, triple S. Smirnoff sausage on Saturday. And we're doing it on Sunday. This movie, I'm not going to say that I'm never going to watch this movie again, but I hope to God I do not watch it again at any point this year. But overall though, I'm going to be honest, I give it a 7 out of 10. Just because the last 15 minutes...
Did you say 7 out of 10?
Only because the way that he in the last 15 minutes of the movie saves it. Him killing himself, this is going to sound horrible. Him killing himself
oh my God.
is the best thing to happen in that movie.
Oh my God. And here I was struggling between how I was going to give it a 3.4 or a 4.6. Like, jeez.
Yeah, I went there.
I mean, I'm not upset that you went there. He went there. He made it. He took it there. I wonder what other
one of
movies,
one of us had to go there. It might as well have been me.
I think I'm going to have to give it a 4.8. I mean,
before the last 10 minutes, I gave it a 2 out of 10. And that was just
oh my God.
That was just me being generous because the dog was really cute.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, the dog was cute.
So what facts do you have?
One of the facts is spoilers. It's a spoiler fact. Body count 1.
The best death in cinema.
In the initial version of the story, Johnny killed himself with a plastic bag.
That would have taken forever. They walk in and he's just sitting there in the
him
corners.
Just struggling with the Walmart bag. You're tearing my bag, Lisa. But apparently, even though it was changed to a gun for the film, the dialogue of Lisa and Mark when they find him was left unaltered, which I didn't know because I didn't know this fact.
Okay, so that makes sense. You know, if you walk into a room and see somebody with a bag over their head that's tied around their neck, I would say, are they dead?
Hold up. I haven't read this fact. This is a blind reaction from both of us.
Oh, God.
26 of 26 people found this interesting. Denny, who is Johnny's adopted son, was originally named Billy, Lisa's gay 18-year-old brother who is attracted to Johnny. In the scene where he is rescued from Chris R., who in this draft is a pimp named Jimmy, he admits to being a male prostitute. Claudette refers to Billy as my son the homo and makes several similar remarks throughout the script. Jimmy is later killed off-scene with the implication that Johnny, who reveals himself to be a vampire with superpowers from rescuing Billy from Jimmy, drained his blood while he was in police custody.
They should have put that in the movie. It would have been so much better.
Oh my God, audience, tell me if this doesn't... I'm sorry, moviegoers. Tell me if this doesn't sound better than anything that we've talked about the entire time.
And that's funny because whenever you sent the photo in the last movie, I said that he reminds me of Van Helsing.
You said he looked like Van Helsing. Then there's one more line to that, which says Johnny, Mark, the one that Lisa cheated on Johnny with, Billy, who would have been Denny, and Peter, who we thought was the psychiatrist, but is just a friend, like Biz Markie likes to say. Rest in peace, a legend. Which is why they are wearing tuxedos after the clean-shaven scene, because they were going to attend the funeral of Jimmy.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense because they never specified, and they mentioned photos. So I thought they were going to go take wedding photos, but they get dressed and they go play football. And then Peter falls down and they just leave. This whole movie is a fever dream. It's so bad. It's a fever dream.
It's a what's that scarlet fever dream? It's a yellow fever dream. It's one that'll kill you.
But not as dead as Johnny.
I just read that fact And that was my reaction. It said, according to Tommy Wiseau, the man who directed, produced, wrote, and starred in the film, Johnny, according to him, Denny has some sort of mental disorder which explains his behavior in the film, but he didn't bother mentioning that to the actor who played him during production.
It's like, why is my... It's like at the end of the movie, and he's like, why is my character so weird? It's like, you have autism. Do you not remember this?
No, you never told me. I was just being myself. Oh, well, buddy, I gotta tell you. These facts are great. When... I'm not gonna say the curse word, but according to Juliette Danielle, who played Lisa, when Tommy Wiseau said the line, "In a few minutes, B-word," everyone on the set began laughing at him, and he came out of the bathroom he was hiding in and was like, "What's so funny?"
Oh, yeah. I remember that scene.
I got 2 more facts, and the last fact's going to be a great segue.
These are so good. Yeah, hit us
You
with
don't
these
understand. You don't understand. There's millions. Like, there's so many on here.
We're just going to have a supplemental episode where we're just reading facts.
Oh, hi is said 9 times. Oh, hey is said 7 times. I'm just scrolling through them now. Hold up. I'll get to my segue one in a minute. According to Tommy Wiseau, Lisa's mother makes a full recovery from her breast cancer.
Praise God. I was so concerned.
Mark was named after Matt Damon.
That's a weird influence.
I don't know how. Most of the crew were convinced the film would never be seen by anyone. Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry we had to see it too.
It's been seen by 2 people so far that we know. And I guess the 26 other people with the impression on IMDb. So 28 people have seen this movie confirmed.
I'm gonna limit myself to 3 more. The rooftop scenes were shot entirely on sets built in a parking lot with green screen used for the San Francisco skyline. Because of Tommy Wiseau's unpredictable nature, the rooftop set was dismantled at least 3 times, only to be rebuilt when Wiseau announced that there were still scenes to be shot, which stalled production and inflated the budget. The crew had no way of knowing how many scenes were set in each location because he refused, he being Wiseau, to let anyone see the entire script, which was extremely vague about the subject in any case.
It's like, okay, this scene doubled the budget, so we went from $100 to $200. Got it. What was the budget for that movie? Does it say? It couldn't have been more than like $5,000.
Okay, let me back out of my trivia. Hold up. Estimated. This is an estimated budget. Are you ready? Guess what it is.
I'm going to be more realistic. I'm going to say $150,000.
$6 million.
What? This was
Estimated.
not a that is not a $6 million movie.
In the U.S. and Canada, it grossed $549,000. Worldwide, it grossed $5 million. It did not break even.
That's no surprise.
Plot details, it says, imitating a chicken, breast cancer, best friend, throwing a football. I mean, we've talked about that. We've talked about all that.
Yeah.
But let me say here's my last 2, because this one's going to be a good one. And explain where the budget went, and which is amazing that you brought that up. And the second one,
the budget was used in that slow-mo scene where he killed himself. That was at least $1 million shot. That was the money shot right there.
Dude, it cost so much to switch from a bag to a gun. But after low ticket sales. Oh wait, wrong one. That's the second.
They had to go find a gun guy instead of a bag guy.
I want to buy a gun.
Did you notice that the gun that he killed himself with was the gun that they took from the guy that was holding Danny hostage on the roof?
I did not. That is crazy.
It looks like the same gun.
Did not.
I'm just going to assume that it's the same gun.
Oh my God, I'm about to get off on another tangent, but we're going to have to wrap up soon, so I can't do that. It's about R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet. If you've never seen it, it's a hip-opera.
What's a hip-opera?
A hip-opera. It's an operatic hip-hop opera. Dude, it's crazy. I'll show you the first episode of it. It's 3 minutes after we get off here.
Yeah, I need to see that.
And we may record it and put it up anyways after the fact as a different like little thing. Why not?
We'll do a supplemental off of it.
Shot simultaneously on 35mm film and high-definition video, Tommy Wiseau was confused about the differences between the 2 formats. Wonder why. But he decided to use both of them as he wanted to be the first director to shoot on film and HD simultaneously. But in order to do that, he had a custom, or I'm sorry, I didn't mean to add a button there. In order to do that, he had a custom mount constructed to house both cameras, unaware that he would need to have a different crew and lighting setup for each. He also purchased the cameras instead of renting them, and the cost of the HD camera alone was $100,000. And despite this, only the footage from the 35mm film camera was being used. Which explained why this movie, as horrible as it was, didn't look like good. It didn't look bad on my TV.
Yeah.
It looked
the color
horrible
grading
on my TV,
could have,
but
the color grading could have been better, but it didn't look as bad as I was anticipating it to look.
What is color grading? I know what it is, but
Why don't you say what it is for the people that don't know?
Okay,
Like
okay,
me.
I can do that. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just like, you know how old spaghetti westerns or old westerns will have that yellow tint? They color graded it to look yellow. It's just a fancy way of saying you're colorizing your film to give it the effect and the feeling that you want it to, because there is psychological science. Wish David was here to discuss this, to support the fact that different emotions make you feel different ways. So yeah. Lots of people tend to do that, but they was just kind of neutral throughout this. Last fact.
Well, my explanation for it was just going to say to make it look better. So I'm glad you went a lot more in depth, because I mean, like whenever whenever I edit a photo, I just pop in a preset, and I mean it's more in depth than that.
But you drag it around. You mess with the colors a little.
I'll mess with one, dude. Whenever I shoot a concert, literally, I will mess with one photo for like 30 minutes until it's perfect. And then I'll absolutely hate everything about it. And then I'll move on to the next one. But hit us with that last fact.
After low ticket sales, the film was almost immediately pulled from cinemas. Apparently, it was in cinemas.
Wow. Imagine going to the theater watching this.
Dude, actually, they still bring it back in theaters, because it has a cult following, so people will go watch it in theaters and quote it out loud. Like, the oh hi Mark scene, which is, well, let me be more specific. The I did not hit her scene, because oh hi Mark said a bunch, and the you're tearing me apart, Lisa scene are like really quoted in the community.
Yeah, I can see why. Those, though there was like no emotion, they were actually pretty funny scenes.
But after that, he paid to keep the film playing in one cinema for 2 weeks, so it would be eligible for Oscar nominations. This proved to be a fruitless attempt, as the film didn't receive any nominations, and ironically, The Disaster Artist 2017, another film, based on Greg Sesto's book, received one Oscar nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay, which I didn't know that the actor that played Mark wrote a book about this. I will have to look into that.
Well, I don't have anything else to talk about regarding this movie, and I don't have any Bigfoot or ghost stories this time.
Or flarp. Got that flarp money.
Or flown.
Oh, man. It has been a great episode, I think. I
give this episode a 10 out of 10. I rank this episode higher than the movie ranked in any aspect.
I'm going to have to go with a solid 8.5.
Okay, respect.
I'll go solid 8.5. Respect. I like it. It's a great episode. So yeah, Wicked's going to be our next movie. We're real excited for this episode when it comes out, for you guys to learn about this movie, and maybe you guys will watch it and tell us about it, what you thought, because oh my god.
I don't recommend watching it though, let's be honest. But The Escape Artist will be the
Disaster.
The Disaster Artist will be the next movie, but it'll be more of a supplemental type thing and not really a full episode. And we have some other supplemental stuff down the pipeline that we're really excited to do and work on. So stay tuned for that. And if you made it this far, congratulations. You deserve a pat on the back, because this has been a mind-numbing movie. And I'm sure talking about it hasn't been any better.
I hope you get enjoyment from our pain.
That's so sadistic.
Oh my god. But yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Like,
Thanks for listening.
comment,
Like, subscribe. Please give us 5 stars. If you can give us 10 stars, give us 10 stars. It increases our outreach and our chances of popping up on somebody's suggestions for a new podcast. And we want everybody.
We're like what, 146th in the United States on Movie Podcast?
Yeah, we're ranked 147th in the United States on Apple Podcasts for film-related podcasts. So to come out the gate in the top 150 is pretty huge, considering there's only 148. So that means we're not at the bottom.
We're doing great.
But there is at least 250, to my understanding, for there to be a ranking system. So we're doing pretty good for ourselves.
But all right, I guess that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching. Have a great afternoon, evening, morning. Night.
Hasta
luego. Que tenga buen día.
Bye in English.